Hey everyone, we have a big weather setup coming next week, and it's not just going to be a single storm. This is going to be a deep punch of cold air combined with very warm temperatures, which will create a long-lasting event. Storms will build across the upper Midwest and continue into the south, eventually pushing toward the east. This is shaping up to be a long and potentially dangerous storm scenario. Severe weather and tornado threat. Severe weather is expected to bring the chance of tornadoes tomorrow and again on Sunday. Just like I mentioned yesterday, the threat level has increased, and now there's a notable chance of tornadoes as these storms move across the south and the southeast. Tomorrow, storms will start developing early in the morning from northern Texas into Oklahoma, with some snowfall possible. However, snowfall chances in Oklahoma have been decreasing as the storm builds into a bigger warm weather scenario. Strong storm cells are expected to form over eastern Dallas-Fort Worth, DFW, by the afternoon. The tornado threat now covers eastern Texas, southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, and the Florida Panhandle. By the afternoon, the threat will expand into southern Georgia and northern Florida. Strong cells will track from DFW into Oklahoma with the potential to become tornadic as they push into eastern Texas. Some cells could extend westward, bringing hail and strong winds. Later in the evening, the storms will build across Arkansas and Oklahoma, though tornado chances will be lower there. Overnight, strong cells will push into eastern Texas and northern Louisiana, and then further into southern Alabama and the Florida Panhandle by early Sunday morning. By Sunday, another 5% chance for severe weather has been added for southern Georgia and northern Florida. This includes the risk for damaging winds and tornadoes. Snowfall amounts have decreased significantly, with only light accumulations expected across eastern Nebraska and northern Iowa. Arizona, New Mexico, and southern Colorado could still see 6 to 9 inches of snow in higher elevations. Tornado threat by region. For tomorrow, Saturday, the highest tornado threat includes all of Louisiana, eastern Texas, southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, the Florida Panhandle. For Sunday, there's a 5% risk for severe weather, including tornadoes and damaging winds for southern Georgia and northern Florida. Extreme weather event. Next week's extreme weather event is being driven by the clash of a warm front and a very cold blast of air. The cold air is expected to dig into the southwest near the Four Corners region by the 10th and 11th, lasting through the 14th and 15th. This will bring significant snowfall to the western U.S. The big picture shows a major storm setup with high winds along the west coast, potential flooding, and heavy precipitation in green. Heavy snow is marked in pink. This system will move across the south, bringing strong winds, heavy rainfall, and snow to the northeast. The south is also dealing with rapid onset drought, which may worsen with this system. The National Weather Service acknowledges that this storm is still developing and widespread, so they'll be monitoring the trends closely. Storm Development Outlook Colorado State University has already identified a 5% to 15% severe weather risk extending into the Ohio Valley in the south. A large storm system is forming in the north, while a smaller low-pressure system in the south will push this storm eastward. It could track toward the northeast, either inland or along the coast, possibly bringing a strong storm or even a snowstorm. By Tuesday, the smaller storm system will bring rainfall to the southwest. By Wednesday, an atmospheric river and heavy banding will push across the west coast. Upcoming storm system and severe weather threat. On Tuesday and Wednesday, a smaller storm system will move through the south, possibly bringing some hail and strong winds as it tracks eastward. After that, a deep trough of cold air will move in, creating a powerful low-pressure system. According to the Euro model, this low could drop into the 970 millibar range, which would produce tight isobars and strong winds. This system is expected to build northward, creating a deep trough that will drive storms across the eastern U.S. The clash of cold and warm air is what's fueling these storms, and the impacts are starting to look severe. The GFS model agrees that Wednesday's system will be relatively small and weaker, but the storm system coming from the west will bring heavy rain and stronger winds. As the storm moves into the central plains, the GFS shows it strengthening into the 960 millibar range, which could make it more intense than recent storms. The ensemble models are also indicating strong winds over the upper Midwest with potential blizzard conditions. Strong winds on the southern and eastern sides of the storm could create severe weather conditions. The storm will then ride up a high ridge, bringing severe weather into Canada. A secondary low-pressure system is expected to form in the south, which will carry the storm eastward into Sunday and Monday, extending the event. Strong storm environment and severe weather potential. The environment looks highly supportive of severe storms, with high dew points, strong winds aloft, and significant lift. The GFS model suggests that this storm could build up significantly by Thursday into Friday, possibly dropping into the 960s or 970s millibars. This would make it a stronger storm than previous ones as it moves into the upper Midwest. The Euro model shows similar development, but with slightly less intensity, holding in the 970s millibars range. Regardless of the exact pressure, both models agree that this will be a powerful storm. On Wednesday, the smaller system could bring a quick round of severe weather as it pushes east. However, by Friday, the bigger storm will climb up the ridge into the upper Midwest, bringing severe weather on both the northern and southern sides of the storm. By Saturday, the storm will expand toward Indiana and Michigan, where strong instability will fuel a line of severe storms. The southern side of the storm will bring even more instability, with stronger storms expected along the Gulf Coast and into the Tennessee and Kentucky valleys. Severe weather timeline and storm development. Friday, severe storms are expected across the northern plains and upper Midwest. Saturday, severe weather will expand across the South, Tennessee Valley, and Midwest, with strong rotating storms expected. Sunday, the storm system will continue eastward, bringing more storms along the East Coast. The vorticity maps show strong rotation in these storms, particularly on the northern side on Friday night into Saturday. The southern side will dig deeper into the south, creating continuous storm development. By Saturday, two low-pressure systems could be present simultaneously, creating an elongated storm system. This will result in widespread severe weather and strong winds. Summary of the threat. This storm event is shaping up to be prolonged and intense, with severe weather expected across multiple regions over several days. Expect heavy rainfall, strong winds, hail, and tornadoes. The combination of a deep trough and warm, unstable air will create an environment conducive to severe weather from Friday through Sunday. This is a developing situation, so stay tuned for updates from the National Weather Service as the storm tracks become clearer. Powerful storm system and severe weather threat update. A very powerful storm is set to move toward the coast overnight into Sunday. We have some new updates on snowfall and severe weather risk that you need to be aware of. Snowfall outlook. There is now a slight risk for snowfall in Washington, Oregon, and California. A moderate risk has also been issued for Oregon and California, where heavy snowfall is expected, just as previously anticipated. However, the snowfall outlook has shifted slightly. The slight risk no longer extends as far toward the Four Corners region. Instead, the snowfall threat remains focused on Colorado and stretches toward the upper Midwest. A moderate risk for very heavy snowfall is still in place over areas near the Dakotas and Minnesota, where significant accumulations are expected. Forecast models show that snowfall amounts could vary as the storm system shifts, but overall, the western U.S. could still see several feet of snow in some areas. The wind threat has also increased. From the 14th through the 20th, a deep trough will drive strong winds across the U.S. The slight risk for high winds extends along the West Coast, but there is now a moderate risk for very high winds in Oregon and California. As the storm pivots toward the eastern U.S., the slight risk for high winds will cover most of the East Coast. A moderate risk for high winds has also been issued across the south central U.S., the Tennessee and Kentucky valleys, and the Great Lakes. Wind gusts of 50 to 60 miles per hour are expected, which could lead to power outages and structural damage. Rainfall and flooding risk. The heavy rainfall threat has increased as well. An atmospheric river will bring significant rain to the West Coast, increasing the risk of flooding. A slight to moderate risk for flooding is now in place for the West Coast and parts of Arizona. This rainfall will help alleviate drought conditions in some areas. On the eastern side of the U.S., as the storm system develops along the trough, heavy rainfall will also lead to a flooding threat. I'll be back tomorrow with a new update. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment. See you, and